Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory Post Fight Show. Remember, if you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. If you got a couple of minutes, make sure to also find us on the audio side, wherever you get your shows, podcasts, leave a rate and review because, why wouldn't you? That helps the channel grow. I first want to give props to Stephen Coolboy Steph Fulton. Okay, because I think a lot of people were saying he was done. We were questioning his chin. And as you heard in the post fight interview, he thought Brandon Figueroa got slower. And his IQ and skill, counterpunching, we saw all of that today. The footwork, Stephen Coolboy Steph Fulton put on an absolute clinic against Brandon Figueroa, who, what game plan was he using? It was a terrible performance. One of the worst performances I've ever seen. You're Brandon Figueroa, you have the length, you have the power, but even though the power wasn't felt today, you gassed out mid-round. Yeah, Marlon 2631 says easiest fight of Stephen Fulton's life. Yeah, like it was terrible. I was watching this on my couch and I was so upset because I sprinkled like just before the fight. I was like, yo, I'm gonna put some money on the underdogs and just like make a parlay. And one of them was Brandon Figueroa getting it done in now rounds 9 through 12. And he was gassed by then. It was one of the worst performances I ever saw, but I was so pissed off. But I was happy for like Coolboy Steph because everybody was talking smack about him. And now
Plus
I don't think you can do
by
that.
decision, by the way. Both of us hit that, Stephen Fulton.
Which by the way, if you go back to the preview show, that was one of the bets where we're like, you gotta put some money on this because I don't know what Brandon Figueroa thought, but I don't even know what's next for him. But Coolboy Steph, were those real? I don't think they were. I think they were like boxing shoes put into Timberlands.
That's what I think.
Because you can't fight in Tims, yo. You know Tims are thicker, yo. Like we all have Tims here, right? Tims are thicker.
You know I do. I
mean, yeah, I bought mine in New York actually.
I need new ones actually.
Tims are thicker. And those weren't thick, like they were a little bit narrow and they were thinner. But I thought his outfit was actually pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
Me too.
I thought it was hilarious.
I couldn't believe he actually came out of that. I thought it was some warm up bullshit, and he was actually fighting.
But I'm actually really happy for Coolboy Steph because I think people thought that he was washed, but he put on a great performance. Like you take a look at this division at 126, and unless Inoue comes up in there and is like, "Yo."
Remember
right?
me?
Like, yeah, that's pretty much what can happen. Unless Inoue rolls up in there and then everyone starts freaking out. This is a weight class that is so interesting. I think Coolboy Steph's toughest task could be like a Nick Ball.
But I think that would be so much fun.
It'd be a great fight. But
I love Nick Ball.
Stephen Fulton was like taking like big shots. But he said there were no power. You also got Shushu Carrington. I think Coolboy Steph beats him, but he's a very interesting name in this weight class.
So let's see.
Angelo Leo.
Let's see the WBC rankings too, because I mean, I don't know if they're gonna mandate that he fights a mandatory, but the champion in recess is apparently still Ray Vargas.
Ray Vargas, yeah.
Which Stephen Fulton versus Ray Vargas is a PBC waiting to happen. Maybe.
Yeah. Hold up, be quiet, man. Ryan Shepard just donated to the show $2. Thank you, Ryan. He really beat him in some Tims and jeans. No, he sunned him in the ring. He legit sunned him in Tims and jeans.
A little surprised by this. Number one contender, WBC, same as the WBO. Bruce Carrington.
Shushu Carrington.
Bruce Carrington, Stephen Fulton.
But to be honest, I think Stephen Fulton like annihilates him.
Annihilates?
I think he wins every round.
I do not think that.
I do. I think
I know you're high on Stephen Fulton, and he just had a great performance. But like,
he had a great
maybe the New Yorker in me is coming out a little bit.
No, it is. I like Shushu, but he don't have the experience Coolboy has. Coolboy went all the way to Japan and took an ass whooping from Inoue. He's ready for anything.
Bruce Carrington wants Inoue. That I don't think he's ready for.
No,
we'll have to see how he looks against Enrique Vivas in March. That's just been announced actually at the Fountain Blue in Las Vegas. That's on the Michaela Mayer Sandy Ryan rematch card. And Brian Norman Jr. is fighting Derek Cuevas, so that's going to be fun.
Tyrone the Great with a great comment right here. Angelo Leo is a great match. Yeah, I would watch Angelo Leo and Coolboy Steph. I think that's a great fight.
I think Fulton gets that one.
Who would you take, like just right now, Coolboy Steph or Shushu?
I want to see. Oh shoot! Excuse me, Jesus. I don't know what was that. Got all choked up thinking about this fight. I want to see Shushu Carrington. How he looks in his next fight. I would lean Stephen Fulton right now. I would go with the experience. I would go with the boxing ability. I think he would win by decision, but I want to see how Bruce Carrington looks in his next fight. Rafael Espinoza is also a champion of this division, who we should mention because he's maybe the most dangerous. Just aesthetically, I want to see Rafael Espinoza versus Nick Ball.
I want to see that too.
So let's see what it looks like. Nick Ball versus Stephen Fulton. Nick Ball will be a pain in the ass against anybody he fights. I don't think he'd beat everybody or anything like that, but he'd be a pain in the ass. Like featherweight's a fun division because like there's no one real dominant force. I feel like all these dudes could beat each other. There's a case for everybody until Naoya Inoue jumps up in this weight class and reintroduces himself. And honestly, he could tear through this entire weight class if he does it soon.
If I'm actually taking a look at this weight class, if you watch the show, I think you know that Rafael Espinoza is my favorite fighter in this weight class. So give me Cool Boy Steph and Rafael Espinoza. That's the fight I'd want. Give it to me right now. What would I do with myself with that fight? I think I'd still take Espinoza. He's my favorite fighter in that division. But we saw how Cool Boy Steph fights against a guy that likes to come forward, is aggressive, takes a lot of hits, throws a lot of punches. But I just think Rafael Espinoza's power it's different from Heartbreak Kids. Like I didn't see Brandon Figueroa's power at all in this fight.
No, and on the we got a super chat. Also, Jalen, to answer your question, Oshaki's 130 right now, champion in that division. Shushu versus Cool Boy is like Benavidez versus Morel. Shushu is talented, but haven't seen him at the elite level.
I agree.
Yes, I agree. I think with Shushu, he also, in a recent fight, showed a bit more warts than Morel did leading up to this one. Morel struggled a little bit in his last fight, adjusting the light heavyweight, but ultimately navigated it. Whereas Bruce Carrington has a win on his record that straight up could be a draw. David Morel doesn't have one of those. The fight against Suleiman Sagawa, that one was a majority decision win, and there were people thinking that he might have even lost that fight, Bruce Carrington. That was a theater. Obviously, in September, he ain't going to lose a close fight at the theater. So I would say more tested in that regard. And Sagawa was not bad, but it was surprising to see that. Sagawa's didn't he fight for the IBO championship at one point or something close to that? IBO Intercontinental Championship, that's what it was.